I'll start with story number 1 here. Houston Texans, they have found their new head football coach, the San Francisco 49ers former defensive coordinator DeMeco Ryans' 6-year contract to be the next head coach of the Texans. So my thoughts, I actually do think it's a good hire. Hear me out, right? So DeMeco, I think he's going to end up being a really nice coach. I prefer him to be offensive, so I don't think he's an absolute home run, but I think he's a good coach, and here's why, right? This draft is loaded with defensive talent at the top. So what I would do, what my strategy would be if I'm, a front office guy, a coach, GM, whatever, in the organization for the Texans, I'd say, DeMeco, go get yourself a toy on the defensive side, right? Go Will Anderson, go get that the edge rusher from Georgia, right? Both of them are really, really dynamic athletes, would make an impact day one, like a Chase Young style, right? Aiden Hutchinson, both the Bosas, right?
Yeah.
Day one impact players. Probably not be very good, though, because the state of the offense, he's a defensive coach. He's not going to turn the offense around, right? So the state of the offense with whatever quarterback you're throwing out there is probably not going to be very good. So then, what do? We're still going to be drafting top 3. You go get a Drake May, Caleb Williams. So then, by the end of next season, you're looking really nice.
We at least have a skeleton of a team to build around.
Skeleton of a team. I think what DeMeco's going to do, turn the defense around really quickly. Then you can go get a young quarterback. Doesn't have to win shootouts. Let Caleb Williams develop a little bit. He's already going to be a freak of nature coming out. Same thing with Drake May.
Yeah.
I don't think it's crazy. I think it's a pretty good hire.
It's the best hire that I think the Texans could have gotten at this point.
I know Sean Payton interviewed and discussed it with him, but I don't think there's ever a chance they got him. But outside of him, I think DeMeco's the best candidate for the Texans.
Yeah, and I mean that's a really tough situation to inherit. I think the plan that you kind of put forward is a good one. It's one that is very realistic to their capabilities in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Because I've been seeing some things that are just like preposterous ideas that like he's gonna somehow gonna turn it around
like in a year and be like a playoff team next year.
Yeah, they're gonna be a playoff team next year, like Super Bowl in 2 to 3 years.
No.
That's about the furthest from the truth you could get.
They can be
but
interesting.
It can be a turnaround, at least not an absolute dumpster fire like they were this year.
Can they be by after they draft Caleb, right? So they would draft him after this next season. Mm-hmm. So in 2024, that'd be right. Yeah, 2024. Can they be a fringe playoff team like a Jacksonville level interesting, or like the Lions, who probably weren't that great of a team but were very interesting, scrappy, right on the border of a playoff.
2 to 3 years to get there.
I don't think that's crazy.
And then from there you can build.
Yeah, for sure.
Start working your way out of that miserable cap space you're in right now.
All you have to do is win 4 games and you're an upgrade. So I mean, it's not, the bar's pretty low.
Bar is low.
All right, story number 2 here. We'll stay with the head coach thing. Former Saints head coach Sean Payton, as we discussed a little bit earlier, has accepted the Denver Broncos job. Kind of still up in the air on compensation for Sean. Probably going to be north of, I think, $20 million a year, which is insane.
You want a good coach like that, you got to pay.
Well, yeah, and they also had to give a first-round pick, and I want to say a third to the Saints, because he was technically still under contract with the Saints whenever he retired, so they have the right to him, so they get compensation for him signing with the Broncos. I'm not going to say it's a terrible fit. We're going to talk more about it here pretty soon, but I think for Denver it's good. I think it's the best candidate on the board, easily.
Yeah.
He's a Hall of Fame coach. That's a Hall of Fame coach.
That's a big hit for Denver. I'm not sure what that means for Sean Payton. I think he might have gotten a little bit of the short end of the stick. When you look at the jobs that were available, or that might be available.
Within the next year or 2.
Yeah. He could have held out for something. We'll talk about it more coming up here.
All right, story number 3 here. The Dirty Bengals fans had themselves a rough week. Not only have they lost, but they've also been clowned in pretty much every way possible, and I mean rightfully so. Right, Travis Kelce's up there. Eli Apple, who at best is a number 2 corner on a good team, got cooked by Marquise Valdez-Scantling.
All day.
I mean, look, MVS is fine, but let's be real. He's like a 3, maybe a 4 on a good team. Got cooked by him. They're eating their words right now, and I'm not going to lie, I couldn't be happier about it. And I actually I like the Bengals more than I probably should as a Pittsburgh fan, and I'm still very, very happy that they're eating their words right now. They act like they won the Super Bowl. Didn't even get there. They're acting like they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, when the expectations were so high and they were talking so much before the game, And when the mayor put that video out, I was like, ooh, now that might be some bad juju.
That's just too much.
Like,
Isn't that too much?
That's crossing.
It's too much.
Look, I could see a video being made if they had already won. You know what I mean? They go out there and for like the fourth, like they just keep beating Mahomes. Like Mahomes can't
I agree. They're
win.
4-0 against them. They win in some pretty good fashion.
Yeah. Then maybe take your shots. Don't talk too early. Travis Kelce's going to put you in your place, no matter if you're an elected official or not.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He does not care.
We found that out this week. It was entertaining. We are a little bit sad over here, though. We had a fantastic shirt design going. If that would have hit, that would have been awesome.
Would have been very, very nice.
But
that's all right.
Hey, you can still go buy it if you feel like it.
Because I mean, he is still 3-1 over Mahomes.
3-1, yeah. Until I see Mahomes win again, he's still Daddy Joe to me.
That's fair enough. Story number 4 here: the Cowboys' former offensive coordinator Kellen Moore. He was on the market for about 2 minutes before the Chargers swooped in and signed him as their new offensive coordinator. Is this a good move for Herbert and the Chargers?
Yeah, you need something different. You need something different in LA. They haven't been able to win, and that's concerning. When you have somebody like a Justin Herbert,
and
you should be winning more.
Too.
You have weapons.
Austin Eckler's a touchdown machine.
You need
Keenan
a new
Allen.
scheme. You need a new scheme, and you need somebody to get in Brandon Staley's ear and tell him not to go for it on 4th and 5 in bad situations.
Now he dialed it back a little bit this year.
A little bit, sure, but I mean he still takes unnecessary risks.
What I want to look for Kellen Moore to do, my advice to him. Now, granted, Kellen's a much smarter guy than me. I'm going to be pretty honest with you, and I don't think it takes a genius to know that. But here's what it can be kind of tough when you're in the thick of it, right? Like an offensive coordinator, like a player, like a coach is, to kind of step back and look, what do I need to do from a holistic view? What you need to do is you need to get an identity, right? You need to, because let's be real here, Nick Sirianni, day one. Now, we clowned his opening press conference, but basically all it was we need to form an identity, because then once we have that identity, we can fit the talent to the identity. Everyone can be in their own role, and now we have an identity of toughness. Great, whatever it is, right? You have to establish that, then find the players to fill it. Everyone buys in. That's kind of what we need to see from the Chargers, no?
Yeah, and I think this could speak to Dallas too. Now, depending on what he's able to do with the Chargers, now you got to turn around and look at Dallas and have a really, like you were saying last week, you sometimes don't know how good somebody was until they leave and you look at the place after they left.
100%. That's going to be interesting here.
Now, if they are amazing in Los Angeles and Dallas really can't put it together,
what if they're a top 5 defense? And Dallas, because of the cap situation, they're also going to lose talent too, but nobody's going to use that as context. Dallas is going to regress. What if LA makes the playoffs, wins a playoff game, Dallas misses the playoffs?
Crazy. That'd be crazy.
I think it happens. That's my prediction. I think it happens too. That's what's crazy.
Bye, Dak. See ya. That's what happens.
It's interesting. Speaking of interesting, and I think probably the most captivating team in the league kind of going into next year is going to be Denver.